Welcome back to Scary Bear Attacks.
Today's episode takes us to a remote cabin in the Washakie Wilderness Area. The Kitty Creek drainage is on the east edge of Yellowstone National Park and is brush-covered and rugged. The peaks in this area easily soar above 10,000 feet in elevation, and the valleys are crowded with dense stands of pine, fir, and aspen trees. Around every body of water, you will find broad stands of willow bushes. The animals of this area include moose, elk, and mule deer. Predators of this area include wolves, coyotes, mountain lions, as well as black bears and grizzly bears. The brown or grizzly bears here are interior bears who don't get the benefit of seasonal salmon runs and consequently are smaller and more aggressive. On June 17th, 2010, there was a biological research team working on Kitty Creek drainage. As part of their protocol, warning signs indicating ongoing bear research in the area and informing hikers of the trail closures were posted at each trailhead leading into the area. They were shooting grizzly bears with tranquilizer guns and putting tracking collars on them. This allowed them to follow the bears on foot or from a helicopter to see where they go at different times of year. In addition to the collar, the scientists frequently tattoo the lip of the bears for identification. The bears are then followed for several years while data is gathered for analysis by the biologists. They had seen the Erwins at their nearby family cabin, located about a mile from the trapping site, but failed to mention the research they were conducting in the vicinity. In the morning, they had snared 2 grizzly bears in the Kitty Creek drainage. One of them was a 5 to 10-year-old, 430-pound male grizzly bear. They tranquilized the bear with a dart loaded with Telazol, a reliable bear sedative. Once the bear calmed down and stopped reacting to the stimulus from the researchers and showing the telltale open-eyed gaze the drug causes in bears, they quickly did their health assessments and placed the tracking collar. As soon as the drug begins to wear off, bears begin to blink their eyes rapidly, move their limbs, and smack their lips. Once the scientists see this reaction, they know that the bear will recover from the tranquilizer soon. So they leave the area immediately to let the bear come to its senses without incident. It was the end of the bear collaring season, and the scientific research team hadn't seen hikers in the drainage for their entire time there, which started on May 25th. They removed the signs posted warning people of the bear research underway on their way out. At about the same time that the bear was waking up from the tranquilizer, 70-year-old Erwin Evert was hiking up a nearby trail. Before he left, he told his daughter that he was planning on hiking up the bear research trapping area to see what the scientists were up to. He hadn't brought bear spray nor a firearm with him, as he and his son had run into bears frequently before and never had any serious problems. A few days prior to this, Erwin had a chat with his part-time hiking buddy and retired biologist Chuck Neal. He told Erwin that there was a bear research team up near his cabin and warned him against venturing into the woods any time in the near future. Erwin even called Chuck about a week before his hike to inquire about the bear research signs posted near his cabin. For the prior 40 years, Erwin enjoyed time at their family cabin with his beautiful wife, Yolanda. He was very familiar with bears and just about everything else he might run into while he was in the forests. Erwin used the cabin as a base to explore the plant life in the area. He was a content transplant from Illinois and, for all practical intents and purposes, was now an unofficial native of the area. He was an excellent field botanist, and his magnum opus was his book titled Vascular Plants of the Greater Yellowstone Area. It was a guide to plants of this area and received acclaim from reviewers. He also knew the risks of entering into bear country and acknowledged that it is all part of the package. Bears like to be away from people, and the areas where bears live are frequently preferred by hikers. By late afternoon, Erwin was climbing up the trail. The peace of the early day had given way to gusts of wind, distorting sounds and twisting scents carried on the air. This is where the evidence gets a little confusing. The biologists contend that they had put up warning signs informing the public of the research they were doing on the bears in the area, but Erwin's family says the signs were removed prior to his hike. At any rate, Erwin hiked to the exact spot where the bear was nearly fully recovered from the tranquilizer. The researchers had left the area approximately 30 minutes before as the bear began to wake up. It is assumed that Erwin walked within threatening distance of the bear, and it responded to him as a perceived threat. It killed him in a violent attack that quickly took his life. He did not suffer, nor was any part of him eaten by the bear. When Erwin didn't return at his scheduled time, Yolanda called Chad Dickinson, a member of the interagency grizzly bear study team. He headed up to the trap site and found Erwin's remains in a remote point in the trail about 2 miles from the nearest road. The effort to recover his body finished up around 1 a.m. The precise attack details are not known, but the outcome was as terrible as any forensic reconstruction could detail. Wildlife agents immediately began a search for the bear. They tracked it using the newly placed collar and located it very close to the attack site. Agents killed the bear with a single shot fired from a hovering helicopter. DNA pulled from the bear's body conclusively supported that this was the bear that had killed Erwin. In the 33 years of researching bears, this was the first time a human fatality was connected to it. Wildlife biologist Dr. Servine indicated that the sedative used to knock the bears out is a dissociative drug, meaning that bears don't see people as they wake up. They are out of it long after the researchers leave the area. Therefore, it is impossible that the bear woke up enraged at people afterward. He describes anger as a human emotion and stated bears don't hold grudges. For those of you who may be wondering why the bear was killed, the reasoning behind this was that IGBST didn't know enough to exclude aggressive motives. The bear didn't eat Erwin, so a predatory attack was off the table. There were no cubs involved, as the bear was a boar, so it wasn't reacting in defense of cubs. The bear didn't have any obvious food caches nearby, so it wasn't defending its food. The experts were completely puzzled why the bear would kill Erwin, as well as why he would hike into a known bear research area. Yolanda later filed a $5 million wrongful death lawsuit against the federal government. She maintained that the warning signs had been removed, which Erwin interpreted as an all-clear to hike the area. This event has led to reforms in how bear research is conducted, and now signage is left for at least 1 day after the research is finished, and an agent observes the bear to ensure it is healthy and leaves the area. Yolanda's lawsuit was rejected by a federal judge in 2013. After reviewing the conflicting and confusing details of this case, I have a few questions for you. Do you think that Erwin walked right into the groggy bear and surprised him into defending himself? Do you think the bear may have smelled the researchers after they left, and that triggered the attack upon him smelling Erwin? Why do you think Erwin hiked directly into an area he knew bear research was underway? Was this attack a territorial attack or a defensive attack? If Erwin had packed bear spray or a firearm, would events possibly turned out different? I will enjoy reading your comments, so please post them in the comment section below and let's talk about it.